Now, I normally would not make a video like this. There is one prepper saying that all you need is a Bic lighter in your pack. Look, if you watched him and you know who I'm talking about, he's full of shit and a liar. He's going to get you killed. And that's all there is to it. These things are not as dependable as you think they are. Now, a lot of people will put a zip tie around the back end to keep this from being pressed. If this gets pressed even a little bit, okay, the fuel gets leaked out. I've had them in my pack, and within a couple hours when I was walking and I got to where I was going, I went to use it and it wasn't working. I didn't put a zip tie across here. You have to protect that from going down. It still doesn't make these things foolproof. They can get pinholes in them. Do not think for a minute that a Bic lighter is God. It's going to get you killed. And that's all there is to it. When it comes to certain things, when you're hiking, backpacking, hunting, whatever you're doing, you need to stick with basics. How to filter water, one or two things. Backups, obviously, for that, because without water, you die. Without fire, if it's cold and that's coming, you die. Hypothermia is not something to laugh about. And depend strictly on that. It's just stupidity at a whole new level. I carry quite a bit for making fire. I don't take a chance. I carry your regular cotton balls, and there's nothing on them. They're just strictly cotton balls. I have a tube of Vaseline in my first aid kit that I can hit the cotton balls with and then use that as a fire. I do carry a couple lighters. I also carry this stuff called Light My Fire, and you'll see it's all black in there. You can light that with a ferro rod, actually, not just a lighter. I carry a very large ferro rod. I made this one myself to match my actual knife, which has the way to start it. I could use my knife or whatever, but I carry that with me. I also carry a little flashlight on the end. Doesn't throw a lot of light, just enough for me to see what's going on so I can find some sticks or whatever I need. One piece of heavy duty pine with resin in it, which I can use my knife to work on. This here, if I can get it open, there we go, is an entire case of char cloth that I made myself. Okay? There is no such thing as me being stuck with lighting a fire. This is more so a rope that's waxed, and then you can light it with a lighter or your ferro rod, and then use as much as you want and hold it under the fire. I also carry, and I did a video on this, a magnifying glass. Now this ain't going to be much good, except, during the daytime, right? And having sun. I even had one person, I think, that used to watch me and say, "You're not an expert fire starter." And I just laughed my ass off. So I'm like, what dictates an expert fire starter person? What, that you can light it in pouring down rain? There's no such thing as an amateur, a medium, or an expert fire starter. I'm sorry to tell you guys. There is one thing. If you know how to use all this, if you know how to use your ferro rod, if you know how to use your Light My Fire, your lighters, your magnifying glass, if you know how to use your tools to achieve the goal that you're working on. But if anybody says all you need is a ferro rod or all you need is a lighter, they're full of shit. They're going to get you killed. You should have a minimum, if you want to go to bare minimum, you should have a minimum of 3 ways of starting a fire. You should have some type of tinder on you. You know, whether it's the cotton balls or dryer lint or whatever you've gone with. You should think about if I get into trying to start a fire in the morning, and when I actually started the fire with this in the video with my magnifying glass, and I'll link up the video, I actually did it in the morning when the dew was on. I did that on purpose just to see if it would work, because I really don't use a magnifying glass all that often, once in a while. I mainly use my ferro rod, and I'll use char cloth and a lighter. Now, a fire is so important. I mean, if it's during the summer, the bugs are bad, the gnats are bad. You want to create a smoky fire to keep them away from you. You do that with wet wood or punky wood or, you know, not hardwood. Hardwood burns clean. You want to use wood that smokes. Green leaves. I mean, that'll give you a boost. It'll help keep away the gnats. But during the colder temperatures, you want to be able to start, a decent hot fire is what you want to do. To take the chill off, keep your core warm, which is your chest, keep your arms and hands warm. You can even use it to dry your clothes if they get wet, or keep an eye on your boots. Don't put them too close to a fire. A lot of people do that. They end up melting the soles on the bottom of their boots, and before they realize the heat was too bad. You got to be real careful with that. But when I see people saying all you need is a Bic lighter, they're acting like that is the best invention of all time. The wilderness is not a safe place. And even though people want to believe it's just a fun camping trip, it's not a safe place. There are many stories that you can read online about bears attacking people, moose, elk, I mean, even deer, bucks. It's unbelievable how uneducated a lot of people are. And fire might be the only thing that deters them. I mean, if you've got a nice run fire and some bear comes along, the most you can do, you're not going to outrun them. They run faster than you. Black bears, grizzly bears, they can climb a tree in seconds. You're not going to outclimb them. So the most you can do, even with a bear, is to make yourself big. I mean, get your arms out there, make yourself look bigger than them. Scream. It might even help to kick the fire at them or to take a log out and hold it. Anything to tell them, hey, I'm not messing around. That's survival mode if you want to live. Deer, their front feet are extremely sharp. They're literally like razors. A deer will go up in the air and start doing this. And if they do something like that, I mean, they can slice your belly open, your chest. When animals are in mating season, like moose with the rut and stuff, they'll bore you down like a bulldozer. It's not a safe place out there. And everybody acts like it's a walk in the park. It's not. So don't believe anybody says, oh, all you need is a Bic lighter. Yeah, moron. Sure. You need more than that. And like I said, I've had Bic lighters break. I mean, if you're going for one night and you're 10 feet in your backyard, okay, fine. If it doesn't work, you can go back home. But I've been on trail for 20, 30, 40 miles back. And there ain't no civilization. If this shit don't work, and I've had it where they don't work, all this is here. And there's no such thing if people want to believe, oh, you're an expert fire maker. Who gives a shit? As long as you can start a fire, that's what matters. That's what's going to keep you alive, especially if it's cold and you're stuck to be out there at night. You don't want to be walking at night trying to find your way back and walk off the end of a cliff or a ravine or something. Or walk in the quicksand. I've done that. And believe it or not, in the United States or Canada, we have quicksand. It is around. Rare, but it's around. You really need to be aware of what's going on. Now, when my Bic lighters broke, I used my ferro rod and my char cloth to start a fire. And I also had it where in the morning, because it was so damp, it was hard to get the wood burning. So now I actually needed a flame underneath that wood for quite a long period of time. There was no way the ferro rod or the black cloth, the char cloth, was going to work. No way. I couldn't put a constant flame to it. With Light My Fire, I love this stuff. It keeps burning longer than a cotton ball. I can take that, slide it underneath the fire as it burns, and it'll burn for a good 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Sooner or later, it's going to light that fire on fire, no matter how wet that wood is, because it's actually going to dry it out. If you got to use a combination, use a combination of the cotton balls and Light My Fire. But there is a method to my madness when I do things. And even when I use the rope fire, the reason for this thing, and you can make them, you don't have to buy them if you're tight on cash. The reason for this thing is you can adjust how much burns. I don't know if you can see how black that is. So if I want, I can burn that much fire and then put it out by going over top. Or I can put it out that long and literally it's like having a match on fire. So I can put that underneath the wood and allow it to keep burning and burning and burning until the fire lights. Think for yourself. Please use your own brains. And don't listen to stupid people that say all you need is a Bic. They're going to get you killed. Make sure you got at least 3 ways and many situations that you can think of, whether it's raining or snowing or any other situation. Because a fire is gold. You can also use it to put snow in it and make sure you got a little bit of water in your pot when you put snow in it, and you can actually disinfect the water and be able to drink it. If your filter cracks or something goes wrong with your filter, fire is so important. Don't just depend on that, or you're going to find you've just put yourself in a bad position. Stupid people on YouTube. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one.